recap of Dana White Contender Series. DWCS is back. A very recap week 1, which was okay. I feel like week 1 in every DWCS season is usually weak, and I feel like this kind of goes along with that idea. Because if you're like, I can remember the Joe Pyfer week 1 where that was the only good fight on it. That's why you got that line. Like I know 2 or 3 years ago, we had the Lonnie Kavanaugh on week 1. We had last year, I don't remember much good from it. Susur Kayev and Ty Miller, so that was okay, but yeah, this was another kind of underwhelming week 1. There's some really good on it, some great prospects, but there was a lot really bad on it as well. And again, it was just kind of what week 1 of the Contender Series usually is. Usually week 2 is when it kicks off and gets like really good, and then we really won't have another bad week till like maybe week 7, 8. So it's kind of week 1 curse that usually it isn't great, and this kind of follows suit in that idea. Not saying it was bad, obviously it's Contender Series. I've never really seen a bad week of Contender Series, so hallelujah for that, and this ain't the first, but yeah, it was just kind of underwhelming. Again, there was 2 really good fights, 1 very okay fight, and then 2 pretty bad fights, so it was what it was, better than 330 is gonna be, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So just because the Contender Series is back for the next 10 nights, and I fucking love Contender Series. Outside of the White House card, this is probably the thing I was most excited for this year in the UFC. So I love it, and even when it's not the greatest, it's still Contender Series. So I enjoyed it, and I'm excited to recap it. So again, I don't do breakdowns for these because I don't know anyone. I'm just guessing, looking off their record and all that, and that would be a boring fucking breakdown. So, but I'll do a recap. So, pretty simple. Not really much else to say there, and yeah, I think that's about that. So, not really too much else to say there outside of please like, comment, and subscribe. And unless I'm going to say something, which I don't believe I am, I'm good to have Contender Series back. I'm excited to recap it, even if it wasn't the greatest episode. It's good to have it back, and we got 9 more weeks for it to be great. And there was good, bad, and indifferent on this card. Let's recap it, shall we? 5 fights, Contender Series, Season 10. Best thing Dana has ever made. It's 10 weeks of recapping it and enjoying it. Let's do just that. You ready? I know I am. Let's recap some Contender Series. It's so fucking good to have it back. As we begin the season at middleweight with a fight that was a little bit underwhelming to start the season, but it was okay, ended really well. As we had to begin season 10 of the Contender Series, a fight that's pretty important. The first and last fight of Contender Series always are important, should be a banger, and this was very okay, as we had to open the Contender Series season 10 and this year. Joe the Land Animal Cropshot versus John AK-47 Coonerman. This was an okay opener, better than last year's, which was Yuri Pamfarov and Christopher Ewart, which that kind of sucked, but this was a much better opening fight this season. Not great, again, a decision to begin the season kind of sucks, but it wasn't bad. Round 1, Coonerman was, I would say, a bit better. It was close, but I feel like Coonerman took the round. But then the last 2 rounds, Cropshot just took over, winning the second and third, breaking Coonerman's arm at the end of the third. And that pretty much locked up the win and contract for him. And yeah, 29-28 across the board. I think 1 or 2 judges scored 30-27, which I'm not upset at. The first round was very 50-50, and yeah, this was not bad. let's be honest, this fight was completely saved by the armbar at the end, because without that armbar, I don't think Cropshot is getting signed here. But with that armbar breaking Kuhnerman's arm, and let's be honest, the fight should have been stopped. Yeah, give him a contract. So it was not bad. It was fine. I didn't hate it. Like, well, if again without that armbar, I would have called this fight pretty trash. But it was what it was. Cropshot was just bigger and was able to kick Kuhnerman away and fight in that range for a lot of the fight. And that is about that. Again, respect to Kuhnerman for not tapping to that armbar, because fuck, that's one of the most gruesome things I've ever watched. And yeah, very cool ending to a bad fight to begin the season. Contract earned and deserved, and what more is there to really say deserve? So that's about that. To talk about the winner here first, the first winner and assignee of the season, Joe Cropshot. Now a 9-3, 31-year-old middleweight on the roster, who I thought was going to be ass when I saw losses to Cody Prundage and Oron Kosi, but dude is not terrible. Came from LFA, which kind of expect him to be respectable in that regard, and yeah, welcome to the UFC. What can you really say here? Let's be honest, is he going to do much in the UFC? No. We can call a spade a spade. He's going to be okay. Like, in a few years, if you told me his UFC record was like 3-2, I'd be like, yep, sure, sounds about right. But he's better than some guys on the roster. Your fucking Julian LeBlanc, Cedricus Dumas, etc., etc. But is he going to be like a prospect, a top 15 guy? No. Let's be honest, no. He's going to be a fine guy who will beat shittier opponents, lose to better opponents, and it's fine. So we'll see how he does when he fights someone his own size, because again, he towered over Kuhnerman and literally looked like he was in a different weight class. And yeah, again, he really only got the contract because of the last moments, which good. You get the contract however you can, but is he gonna leave the season as the one of the best prospects? No. He's a guy who deserved a contract, but is he gonna do much with it? No, in my opinion. So deserved contract. Don't see a bright future in the UFC, but welcome either way. Start off the season decently, and we'll see what he can do. So not really much else to say there. And as for the loser here, the first favorite of the season, and that got his ass beat and an arm broken in the process, John Kuhnerman, or Kuhn. I swear some places I saw they put an R in his name. Either way, he loses his O here after getting hyped up. Oh, he trains with John Jones and fucking this guy and that guy. It's like, wow, I see. Yeah, this dude is not good. He no fucking idea why he's a middleweight when he's tiny. 5'9", dude. He literally looks like a lightweight. And that's a big reason he lost this fight. He's just too fucking tiny. So he didn't look too great here. Got an arm broken in the process. A fucking plus toughness. But outside of that, he's just not very good. And if he would have fought, I did not even know he was meant to be on Contender Series last year. If he would have had that fight, he would have probably got his ass beat by Cam Rouston, even worse. So is what it is. He's not very good, and maybe he moves down to lightweight, he'll be decent. But yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking he's gonna do at middleweight at 5'9". So there you go, just not very good. And first favorite of the season, shit the bed. That being said, the only thing left to be said here is, and yes, I'll do this for this season, why not? Who should they fight next? Who should they debut against? I guess is a better question. My debut ideas being with Joe Cropshot, who I think he should debut against. why not Andrei Pulyayev? He did remind me of Pulyayev a little bit in the striking during this fight, and I think that makes sense. That's a decent enough debut against a guy who is, let's be honest, going to be cut from the UFC sooner than later. And Kropchot's not young, 31 years old, so kind of building him up slowly wouldn't make the most sense. So why not Andrei Pulyayev? I would take Kropchot to win that fight because I think he's much better. And yeah, book it. Why not? I think that's a perfectly fine debut opponent. And book it. So not very much else to say there. Yeah, again, fine fight to begin the season. Again, completely saved because the armbar at the end, but still wasn't bad. And yeah, welcome to the UFC, Joe Kropchot. I agree, he should have got a contract just because of that armbar. And again, not the best fight to start the season, but cool ending. Kuhnerman, first favorite of the season, to shit to bed. Man, get overhyped because he sucks. I think the record 10-0 versus 8-3. You're gonna go the undefeated guy. Yeah, nah, he sucks. So good win for Kropchot. Welcome to the UFC, and let's see him debut against Andrei Pulyayev. So not very much else to say there, and fine fight to begin the season. My arm still hurts after watching that armbar. And then after that, we get to kind of the first real dud of the season. Not even the worst fight on this card, but I thought this fight was a dud, and the first undeserved contract of the season as well. We had our second fight of the night in the featherweight division, the second worst fight on the card, and again, the first bad contract of the season, because this fight was not good. We had our second fight of the season, in our first finish, Tom the Phenom Pagliarulo, I think that's how you say it, versus Ananias Metal Mulumba. Well, Mulumba gets the second chance, the first fighter of the season, and he completely shits the bed in a fight he should have won. The guy who was meant to be cannon fodder here wins, which that's never a good sign. And yeah, Mulumba shits the bed. He did take round 1, I pretty soundly got some big shots off. Round 2, Tom definitely started taking over as Mulumba gassed. And then round 3, he just threw Mulumba on the ground and kept him there. Ground and pound TKO, pretty weak, but whatever. And yeah, gets to finish late, gets to win, gets the contract, which I don't agree with. And yeah, that was about that, so not great at all. Again, we were all here to see Mulumba get a knockout and a contract. That doesn't happen. The fight's kind of lame, and that's that. So disappointing and pretty weak, so not really too much I can say there. God, how shit is Marwan Rafiki in hindsight. And yeah, kind of the only guy who did deserve a second chance this season, shit to bed. How the fuck are the rest of them gonna do, the ones that don't deserve a second chance? So that's that. And yeah, pretty whatever fight. Do we even want to count this as a finish, as the first finish of the season? And again, this is definitely the first undeserved contract of the season, so there you go. To talk about the fighters, beginning with the one who did get the win and the undeserved contract, Tom Pagliarulo, 11-2 and 29 years old, coming to the UFC. Again, I don't think he deserved a contract, and I don't think he's gonna do shit in the UFC, because I don't think he's that good. He showed nothing here that it's like, oh, you have to sign him. He looked completely mid in a boring fight that he finished weakly. In a really weak fashion, I guess that's more of a term. Do I gotta say anything else? So, like, I think this guy's gonna be a jobber. I see him being like a fucking, maybe a 1-3 cut guy. He just showed nothing here of, like, substance. That's like, oh, you gotta sign him. Even Kropchot showed more just before the armbar than this guy did. And yeah, I don't know why he signed, so what more there to say there? first bad signing of the season. Always can prove me wrong, but they rarely ever do. And yeah, I signed for bad signing. First one of the season. At least we're getting it out early, so there you go. And then the loser here, the first returnee who shit the bed, Ananias Mulamba. What happened, buddy? You were meant to come in here, get an easy knockout, and get a contract, but instead you decided to come in here, throw a few decent punches, and then gas and do nothing the rest of the fight. Good job. Yeah, dude sucks. What is there to say? He's a one-punch merchant, and that's that. Won't never hear from him again. He'll go beyond like PFL and UAE Warriors, what have you, and he'll always be that guy. Remember that great fight, Merhikia on the Contender Series? That's about that. Again, how shit is Marwan Merhiki that he almost lost to this guy? People think Merhiki's gonna beat Tommy McMillan. That's funny. So, yeah, he's a can. One-punch merchant. Simple. Next. That being said, not very much else to be said there. No debut idea for Tom because he doesn't deserve it, because he shouldn't be having a UFC debut. And, that's about that. So, the cannon fodder got the win here. The guy who was meant to lose won. And, that's about that. So, not very much else to say. Don't think Tom should have been signed. I don't think he's gonna do shit in the UFC because he's not good. And Mulamba's garbage. So, the cannon fodder won. The guy who was just here to lose won. And got signed for no reason. Bad fight. Weak stoppage. What else am I meant to say here? So, first dud of the season. And then this is when the season really started, if we're being honest. We get to the third fight of the night, even if we're being honest, calling this a fight is pretty pathetic, because I thought a fight was meant to be competitive or any chance of it going any other way, but clearly this was none of those things. As we're having our third fight of the night in the flyweight division, our first star of the season. We had that flyweight in the biggest favorite in UFC history, and again, can't we even call this a fight if we're being honest? We had Bilal, the Indo Ninja Hassan, versus Muridul Crusher Saikia. Yeah, this is kind of the first real fight of the season, first real finish, that's for sure, and yeah, we're really gonna call this a fight? All Bilal did was land one right hand, ground and pound, and win in 45 seconds. As you should when you're minus 5,000, the biggest favorite in UFC history. Yeah, what really needs to be said? An Indian on the Contender Series never wins. And, UFC just found another star. Just fell right into their laps, so sweet. What more can you really say there? And yeah, this is a Contender Series I know and love. So first real fight of the season, first fight that's actually what we want to see, and yeah, I cannot rewrite and call this a fight though. What more needs to be said? As we of course talk about first the man of the hour, the man of the episode, the star of the episode, Bilal Hassan, 9-0 Indonesian, the second ever in UFC history. And are we gonna, do we really want to remember Jeka Saragi, 25 years old, and welcome to the UFC. Yeah, this kid's gonna be a star. He has the fighting ability, power, the personality. This kid's gonna be a star. What more can you really say there? He's good. He's good. He gives off pretty big Lonnie Kavanaugh vibes from his Contender Series fight. Like, after that knockout, it's just like, yeah, this kid's gonna be a star, and Bilal Hassan's gonna be a star, in my opinion. He has the talent, he has the personality, the power. He's good in a region they want to get fighters from. this kid's gonna be one of the ones. That's for damn sure. And I won't be shocked if we're leaving the season talking about him being the best prospect of the season. That's a lot when there's still fucking 9 weeks of this, but good luck finding a better prospect than Hassan, because this kid's gonna be an issue. This kid is so fucking good. From the little we saw and the more we will see, this kid's gonna be something. If he, 2 years from now, a year from now, I think he's already gonna be, maybe in the top 15. 2 years from now, dude, he might be fighting for the belt. He is really fucking good, and I think the UFC has found their future superstar, so what more needs to be said? At least one good fighter is named Bilal, and Indonesia has a good fighter. Good for them. This kid's a star. That's all I can say. A superstar is found. That's what Contender Series is good for. As on the other side, a superstar is definitely not found, even though they would love to find an Indian star. It ain't ever gonna happen. And fuck, from what I see, as the loser here was Muradul Saikia. Well, he did better than the Akil Ali fight. He lasted 8 more seconds. Yeah, what am I meant to say here? This dude sucks. And, yeah, I still feel bad for India every time we talk about him with Puja or Jubilee or now Mridu. Or every time they get 1 or 2 people in Contender Series that always lose. What am I meant to say? I feel bad. I feel bad that they have nothing. For years they've had nothing. The best fighter they've ever had from India in the UFC is Puja Tomar. That's all that needs to be said, so maybe one day they'll find that goddamn gem. But right now, no. It ain't happening. So Muradul is not that. He got 2 chances and literally I don't think landed a punch in either. And hopefully India can find that superstar someday, but it might not be in my lifetime, that's for damn sure. I hope, because Puja Tomar should never be a country's best fighter, so there you go. With that being said, the only thing left to be said here is, who should their debut be against? For Bilal Hassan, I think a very good debut for a guy who's already white hot in terms of people talking about him. Why not Cody Durden? Durden on the downswing would probably go down to Hassan pretty easily. Shanghai Shanghai would be perfect. Book it. What more can you say there? Cody Durden, Bilal Hassan, add to the Shanghai card. Fuck, add to the Road to UFC card for all I care. Now it should be on the main UFC card. And watch Hassan put Durden out in probably a minute. So that'd be a huge win for him right off the bat, and we'll just get that train moving. So book it. What more do you needs to be said? Hassan, Durden. It's perfect. Book it. So not really much else to say there. And yeah, simple. What else can be said? Saikia got his second opportunity. Looked even worse, so bye-bye to him. And India will never get their MMA start, but at least Indonesia has theirs. This kid is a superstar, and cannot wait to watch him fight again. He has already jumped up high in the best prospect rankings in the UFC right now, so can't wait to see him fight again. And yeah, let's see him put Cody Durden to sleep. So the kid's a superstar, and I hope he has a fight booked ASAP. So simple. Maybe he already has a fight booked before this video is even out. That'd be fucking great. And then we hit the co-main event of the evening, the worst fight of the season, and it's only week 1, but I don't think you're going to get a fight much worse than this. As we have in our co-main event of the evening of week 1, not going to waste much time here because literally nothing needs to be said here. We had our co-main and the worst fight of the season at welterweight, lightweight. Abe the Killer Ashirger Alagir, I think, versus Fabrizio El Chocoro Escarraga. Yeah, this fight was dog shit, and it was one of the worst robberies you'll ever see. What do I need to say here? When every scorecard I've seen from someone said 30-27 Escarraga, and somehow the judges rob him, that's all that you need to be said. I've not seen one person score this fight for Abe outside of the two judges, because you can't. You want a fucking recap of this fight? Literally for 15 minutes, Abe shot, I believe it was 20 takedowns and got none of them. That's it. He did not fight Fabrizio here. And he got the decision somehow in a fight he clearly got 30-27 in. The best comparison I got for it is like maybe Marab and Aldo, but even then, Aldo didn't land any strikes in that fight. Fabrizio kind of pieced him up on the feet when they were at range, and he easily won this fight. So, it's one of the dumbest fucking decisions I've ever seen in my fucking life, that a blatant 30-27 where only one guy was actually fighting gets robbed for no reason. So, what am I meant to say here? The fight was dog shit anyway, just add on a robbery. This is going to be the worst fight of the season, easily. I don't think you can get a worse one, because even if you have a bad fight, I don't think you're going to find a robbery worse than this, so just garbage. What more can I really say there? And, yeah, pathetic, worst fight of the season, and won the worst robbery in Contender Series history, and just garbage. It's simple. So, what more needs to be said? Of course, Abe didn't get a contract, he didn't win the fight, even Dana said that. And Fabrizio wasn't going to get a contract anyway if he didn't get robbed, but he still got robbed, so what needs to be said? Garbage, neither guy should be brought back. And, well, no, I take that back. I would be fine with Fabrizio getting a second shot next year against someone who might actually fight him. Abe, no. Good riddance, goodbye, don't come back. So, not really much else to say there. One of the worst robberies you'll ever see. How everyone scores at 30-27 Escarraga, and somehow two judges rob him, I would never understand. And, garbage fight, worst fight of the season. Never need to see Abe again. I would be fine if Escarraga gets a second shot next year, and, yeah, what more needs to be said there? So, garbage. And then the main event of the evening, a fight even more one-sided than the Hassan fight, and again, calling this a fight almost feels wrong. And we had in our main event at heavyweight, a fight even quicker than Hassan, and fuck, I don't know what more needs to be said here, what I can't even say here. In our main event of Week 1 of Contender Series at heavyweight, one of the most predictable fights you'll ever see, if we even can call whatever this was a fight. We had to end Week 1 of Contender Series. Anthony Bow Down Wint versus Bad Matt Adams. Yeah, what do I need to recap here? Wint took him down, finished him in 34 seconds. Done. That's that. There's no fight to recap. He kicked him in the leg 3 times, threw him on the ground, and TKO'd him. Simple. Next, to talk about the fighters here, beginning with the winner, Anthony Wint. 7-0, 30 years old. Welcome to the UFC's heavyweight division. Yeah, we get another football player in the UFC. Don't be like Greg Hardy or Austin Lane. Be more like Josh Hogan in terms of talent. And, he obviously looked flawless, didn't take a fucking punch, and is already talking about fighting on UFC 330 this week, which I hope. I doubt will happen, but I hope. But I think more likely we get him maybe in Sacramento or UFC 331, which I kind of predicted he'd be debuting around that time. And, yeah, welcome to UFC. Dude's strong, powerful, another football player in the UFC. Welcome. Simple. Josh Hockett inspired many people, I guess. And as for the loser here, Matt Adams, well, you did your job. You showed up and got your ass beat. Cool. You made Anthony Wynn look really good. That was all you were meant to do, and you did it pretty damn well, so good job. Simple. Not much to say there. Yeah, is anyone shocked the jacked football player beat the fat dude? Like, what am I really meant to say there? Who is surprised that the jacked football player beat the fat guy? I'm not, so there you go. And yeah, who should they debut against? For Anthony Witt, my debut idea for him is, funny enough, didn't even do this on purpose, but I do think it's the best idea. Why not Max Jimenez? Why is it funny? Because Max Jimenez was Josh Hockett's debut also, so why not? Jimenez hasn't fought in a while. The win needs an easy win. Doesn't need it, but get it. He's probably gonna fight pretty quickly. Why not the same guy Hockett beat? Because it would be funny. So pretty simple. Yeah, Wynn's gonna be good, man. I think Wynn's gonna definitely do some good shit in the UFC. Is he gonna be a top 15 guy and all that? Who knows? But I think he could definitely get some highlights off against shitty guys, and we'll see how he does against higher echelon guys. So, do I think he's gonna be Josh Hockett level? No, I don't think he's gonna be a top heavyweight. Maybe a bottom of the top 15 at ceiling, but who knows? We literally saw nothing here to really determine his talent. So we'll see what happens. And again, welcome to the UFC, and hopefully we're talking about his debut. It's this Saturday, hopefully, but unlikely. I wouldn't be shocked if Sacramento, though, is more likely, or again 3:31 at the latest, I would imagine. So welcome to the UFC. Matt Adams did his job of just get crushed, so good job on him. And again, is anyone surprised that the jacked football player beat the fat guy? So welcome to UFC, Anthony Wynn. Dude looked great, and let's see him fight Max Jimenez in debut, hopefully this Saturday or next week. So not very much else to say there. And yeah, can we even call this a fight? Well, simple. That's the Contender Series we know and love. And with that being said, boom. That was a recap of week 1. No real point to talk about my picks because they're just guesses. Well, 2 of them were definitely not, and actually this one wasn't, but the other 2 were, so just guessing, whatever. Again, that's why I don't do a breakdown. The 4 contract winners again were obviously Cropshot, Tom, Hassan, and Wint. I agree with 3 of them. I still don't agree with that at all, but whatever. How would I rank the 5 winners after, like, how Felder does the 4? Why not do the 5? I'm gonna say Hassan 1. I know his fight was longer, but I think this kid has a super bright future. I would say Anthony Wint 2, Cropshot 3, Tom 4, and Abe 5, because he didn't even win that fight, and if Fabrizio won, it probably would have been 5th also. So, simple. And, yeah, that's about that. I'm really excited to see these dudes in the UFC. Well, Hassan and Wint, to be honest. Like, these 2 are gonna fuck shit up, hopefully within the next month or so. Good to never see you again. I would be fine to see you again next year. Don't really care to see you in UFC, and yeah, fine, cool. So, definitely excited for 2 of these guys. The other 2, whatever. And, that's that. Contender Series is back, and yeah, if I had to give this card this week a rating, what would I rate week 1? I gave it a C+ grade, but what would I actually rate it? I'll give it a I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. It definitely brought down by this garbage and this, but this brought it up a little bit, and then these two carried, so I'll say a 6.5 out of 10. Not bad. It was what it was, and yeah, what more can I really say there? So that's about that for week 1. Quick recap, but these are never long, and one more needs to be said there. So next week we got week 2, which will be, I'm not really looking forward to that much because there's like 4 returning guys, Muhammad Ali and fucking Christian Perez, etc. So I'm not thrilled about week 2. I can't wait for week 3 with Bellamir, but it is what it is. I'm always excited for Contender Series either way, and we'll see what happens next week. So this week was good. Again, we might be talking about Anthony Wynn or Bilal Hassan fighting. Well, Wynn might be fighting this week. Who knows? Hassan, hopefully, he's fighting quickly, and we might have got 2 stars here, 2 other guys, and see what happens with the rest of them. Good to have Contender Series back. I fucking love it, and yeah, I love the Contender Series. I can never talk too badly about it, because really it's never bad either, and good to have it back. So good we had some good fights this week. They ain't gonna happen at 3:30, so that's about that, and there you go. So pretty simple. It's weird to do a quick recap, but I like it, and that's about that. So we'll be back next week to recap week 2, and also talk about UFC 330 on Friday and Sunday. So pretty simple. Not very much else to say there outside of, as always, unless I'm ready to say something which I don't believe I am, please like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. I did those backwards. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I guess I did forget something real quick, even though not very much to be said here. If you missed the card, which I say you should go back and rewatch, just Win Hassan and maybe this armbar if you want to see it. I'll tell you that, this fight skip, and God skip this, so go rewatch those, obviously. And now that I know I haven't forgotten anything left to say, I can say, as always, RX out. Good vibes.